It's an interesting time for business. Tariff and trade policies are dynamic, supply chains are squeezed, and cash flow, it's tighter than ever. If your business can't adapt in real time, you are in a little bit of hurt. So how do you get full visibility and adapt in real time? Over 42,000 businesses trust NetSuite by Oracle, your AI-powered business management suite. It brings accounting, financial management, inventory, and HR all under one roof. NetSuite is the #1 cloud ERP for a reason. It's your single source of truth, giving you the data and control you need to move quickly. Real-time forecasting helps you move into the future with confidence, and with AI built in, you can automate the busy work and focus on strategy. NetSuite helps you see what's stuck, what it's costing you, and how to pivot fast. If I were running a business with a lot of moving parts, I'd use NetSuite for full control over everything. Tame the chaos with NetSuite. If your revenues are at least in the 7 figures, download the free ebook, Navigating Global Trade, 3 Insights for Leaders at netsuite.com/SPI. That's netsuite.com/SPI. Hey, I get it. You've worked really hard to build up your business, and it's doing great. So great that you need help now. The most important thing for your business is to hire the right people to support it. So how can you find amazing candidates quickly? Easy. Just use Indeed. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. Indeed Sponsored Jobs helps you stand out and hire fast. And with Sponsored Jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. And it makes a huge difference. According to Indeed data, Sponsored Jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. And it's one of the largest databases of job seekers, too, giving business owners access to a wide range of candidates. And one of the things I love most about Indeed is the job alerts feature. I get notified when new candidates apply. There's no need to wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/smartpassive. Just go to Indeed.com/smartpassive right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/smartpassive. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring Indeed is all you need. The perfect product launch. It's the goal for every brand marketer. High heat, fast sellout, and fans posting recipes like trophies. What do Sydney Sweeney's soap drop, Taylor Swift's tickets, and your next launch have in common? Well, they're not bought, they're bragged about. Fanfare turns your drop into a moment. Fanfare cues real fans, blocks bots, and builds launch experiences worth screenshotting. Want hype without the heartbreak? Get Fanfare's 5-step hype drop playbook with our proven success formula and make your next launch unforgettable at fanfare.io/playbook. Again, fanfare.io/playbook. This is the Smart Passive Income Podcast with Pat Flynn, session number 270. Too legit, too quit.
Welcome to the Smart Passive Income Podcast, where it's all about working hard now so you can sit back and reap the benefits later. And now your host. He wakes up with bigger plans than the day before, Pat Flynn.
Still using a copy-paste website? Break the template trap with Framer. Whether you're overwhelmed by traditional site builders or frustrated with cookie-cutter designs, Framer gives you the freedom to create a site that's professional, polished, and uniquely yours. Framer is the design-first, no-code website builder that lets anyone ship a production-ready site in minutes. It's free to start, allowing you to browse hundreds of pixel-perfect templates or even design something on your own on a totally blank canvas. Add bold animations like appear effects, text effects, parallax scrolling, scroll animations, looping animations, and much more in seconds. The built-in AI handles the heavy lifting, generating starter layouts, and can even translate your entire site to any language. Ready to build a site that looks hand-coded without hiring a developer? Launch your site for free at framer.com and use code SPI to get your first month of pro on the house. That's framer.com, promo code SPI. Framer.com, promo code SPI. Rules and restrictions may apply. Hiring shouldn't be a hassle or a drain on your budget. Upwork is your one-stop shop to find, hire, and pay top freelance talent, saving you time and keeping costs in check all in one place. Companies at every stage turn to Upwork to get things done and find more flexibility in the way that they staff key projects and initiatives by assessing a global marketplace filled with top talent in IT, web development, AI, design, administration support, marketing, and more. And I've personally used them myself and can vouch for them. Posting a job on Upwork is easy. With no cost to join, you can register, browse freelancer profiles, get help drafting a job post, or even book a consultation. From there, you connect with freelancers that get you and can easily hire them to take your business to the next level. Upwork makes the entire process easier, simpler, and more affordable with industry-low fees. Post a job today and hire tomorrow with Upwork. Visit Upwork.com right now and post your job for free. That is Upwork.com to post your job for free and connect with top talent ready to help your business grow. That's UPWORK.com, Upwork.com. Go there now. Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me in this session of the Smart Passive Income Podcast. I'm really excited because we're featuring two guests on the show today, a husband and wife combo, and that is Brian and Erica Baker from thebakers.tv. So it wasn't too long ago, both on Twitter and on Facebook, I had said, hey guys, do you know any couples or partners who have created a business together? And I got a number of suggestions, all great, actually. I looked into them. And the reason for this is because I wanted to know what it was like to interview somebody who was working with somebody else and building a business together, right? For me, it's just me, and I started this thing on my own. I wanted to see what it was like to have two people who started something together. And so, of course, there were a lot of people who had friends working together. There were people who had just business partners who they literally found each other because they wanted to start this business together, and then they became friends. And then there were the Bakers, thebakers.tv. I had about 100 tweets and emails and Facebook messages from people who were saying that I had to have the Bakers on. So Brian and Erica. And then I followed up and I asked, well, why? And they said, because they're so real, because they're so transparent. So what do? Well, at thebakers.tv, they help people make sense of relationships. And they do this by connecting truly in a very transparent and authentic way with their audience. And they've built this massive crowd of raving fans by doing so through a number of different channels, specifically live streams for a lot of things. And they just share it all. Even if they're going through a fight or something, they share it and they talk about communication. And they've really built a lot of trust over time with their audience. And of course, being a husband and wife combo, they built this business that they now have together. They also have really smart ways of actually getting people on their email list. And again, they're talking about relationships and communication. And we talk a lot about that in this episode too. So not just how they started their business together, but also, I want to gain some tips from them in terms of, okay, if you have a partnership or you're thinking about starting a partnership, or no matter what kind of partnership you have, even if it's outside of business, maybe it's for a relationship that you have with somebody, how can you best communicate so that you can work things out? And that's where the show will come into play. So I'm really excited to feature both Brian and Erica Baker from thebakers.tv. So let's get right into it. Here we go. Hey, everybody. I'm so happy to welcome Brian and Erica Baker to the show today. Brian and Erica, thank you so much for being on the Smart Passive Income Podcast today. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great. Thank you, Pat, for having us.
Absolutely. I had asked this question to my audience not too long ago. Hey, do you know any couples or partners who started their businesses together and who are doing amazing things? And, I've got a lot of people who answered, this person or this company, but I had gotten about 50 different people say, you got to interview Erica and Brian Baker. And I was just like, done. Like, that's social proof at its finest right there. And we'll get into how that happened in but Erica, why don't I start with you? Tell me about what it is that you guys do. Why do you have such raving fans right now?
Yeah, well, we work online with men and women with a desire to create easy communication and deep connections in their relationships. Mm-hmm. So we do that through our blog. We do at least weekly live Facebook videos. We have an online course. We do private coaching, and we'll be launching group coaching and doing some speaking engagements.
Wow. And so this is all surrounding the idea of just helping, is couples your avatar, Brian, in terms of, who it is you're serving here?
I would say that most of our followers are in romantic relationships, but we've had a lot of people that have reached out to us and they follow our live videos and everything. And they're like, hey, I'm not in a relationship right now, but the things that you are sharing are really speaking to me and are preparing me for a romantic relationship someday, as well as friendships and work relationships and all that. So, so we've kind of switched gears to open it up to prepare people for any kind of relationship.
Oh, really interesting. Brian, what's the URL where people can find out where you guys are at?
Thebakers.tv.
Thebakers.tv. Okay, so Erica, talk about the origin story of Thebakers.tv and how this all kind of got started here.
Yeah, so we always had a desire to serve others. That was our most important thing with Brian's background in ministry. We knew that there was something that we were meant to do in particular, but we just never seemed to fit in that box that we were always just trying to find like our space in corporate world. And so we kept, searching and just basically doing personal development, trying to figure out, what gifts we had. And finally someone asked us, well, what do people come to you guys naturally for? And that main thing was relationship coaching or counseling. When Brian was a pastor for almost 5 years, that's when people started seeking guidance. And then we started combining our views. And people really liked that. Instead of having just one person, talking about what you should or shouldn't do, we talked about us from a relationship standpoint, where we came from. We've always struggled with relationships. We've always struggled with communication and our identity and how that impacted our relationships. And quite frankly, we barely got married because our relationship was so awful. Like, we bickered all the time. He would get offended because he would feel like I was saying he was stupid in whatever I was doing. And I would then, and then he would shut down, and I would get offended because, it was like a vicious cycle. And it's just what we knew. Mm-hmm. And so we had to dig our way out of that. That's a habit that we had formed. And so we, being the people we are trying to better ourselves, we got mentors, we read books, we tried to figure out and navigate what this looks like for us to have like a real working relationship with communication. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't come natural, and something you have to work at. And once we started doing that, we were like, I think that we could make this into a rhythm that other people could utilize as well.
I love that. Brian, would you mind sharing, I want to pause on that topic of just better communication, better relationships. And in a couple minutes, can you give us some good advice? Like if somebody is going through what you had just described, some of that miscommunication in a relationship, bitter feelings toward another, how could one even begin to start, or at least put themselves in the right direction as sort of getting out of that and starting to communicate better with each other?
Yeah, I would say a lot of what we do kind of starts with just kind of discovering who you are. So, and that's kind of the basis for the issues that you have in relationships, and a lot of times the reasons you're not getting along. So we developed something called a core needs quiz that kind of helps you develop what you need from a relationship. So whether that is someone to just let you know that I believe in you, or I am always there for you. So from there, you can kind of figure out what you need, and the way that your partner, your friend, your coworker, whatever, can best help you walk through that. Mm-hmm. From there, I would say to just work on kind of some basic steps in communication. So that's the next thing that we usually walk people through. We have something called 6 Steps to Easy Communication. And it's just starting out and creating a safe place. So you take a break from each other if you need to.
That's like a 30-minute break, not a
okay.
Not like a runaway break. So taking like that space to calm down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then just kind of remind each other that you love each other, and kind of reestablish the fact that you are there for each other. You're on the same team. You are in a relationship for a reason, and be recentered to the fact that regardless that we're not on the same page right now, we are working towards the same things, and we want to get through this together.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I think that applies to all kinds of relationships, not just romantic ones, but friendships and obviously business partnerships too, which we're talking a lot about this month as well, because a lot of people compare business partnerships to, marriages. And so hopefully that helps people out who are perhaps at this moment going through some tough times. And, I want to continue on your story in terms of of, okay, you've had these struggles, but then you fought out of that. You dug deep, you had mentors and coaches and counselors, like you said, and then you had this idea of, well, maybe we can bring other people along with us and help people and serve others. And I'm curious, were there any sort of doubts when deciding to go down that route? Like, almost questions like, wow, who are we to actually teach other people this stuff? Or was it just you felt like this calling or could feel it and just had to do it? Either of you can take that question.
Yeah, I think where a lot of entrepreneurs, I feel like, question themselves constantly on the journey, right? So it's that whole imposter syndrome that we're starting to hear more and more about. I know Nicole Walters even wrote an article on that. And it's basically feeling like you're just not good enough to talk about that. And we've felt that a ton. Mm-hmm. And I think that we just need to recenter ourselves. The fact that, we even put it on our website. We are not, certified counselors. We didn't get our degrees in psychology, but we can bring to the table is our personal experiences and how we work through it. And it's not going to be the same for everybody, but I know a lot of people resonate with us, and that's why we've decided to share our journey. And we are okay with completely being raw and real and open about everything. We have, a lot of things that aren't easy to talk about that we've gone through in the past. We've been on welfare. When we had our first 2 kids and I was pregnant with our third, we actually didn't have jobs or a home. So there are a lot of things that we've gone through that maybe people can relate to only parts of our story, but it's just recentering ourselves, that we're just telling our story to help encourage people that we do have a way that could possibly help you.
Mm-hmm. And then Brian, how did you start telling your story together to the world?
Yeah, I would say Erica connected with Nicole Walters. Erica's always been really eager to seek out mentors and find the people that have what we want. And so she kind of took a leap of faith, and she's like, I love Nicole. She's amazing. I want her to be in our corner. So she reached out to Nicole and said, how do I connect with you? How do I become what you are? And Nicole reached back and called her, and we were both super excited about it. And so she just walked us through so this is what we want to do. How do we begin this process? How do we turn this into not just a passion, but a way to change our lives, to change other people's lives, and to make a business from it.
Yeah, we went through Nicole's 1K one day initially when we started having her as our mentor, and that's how we started on the journey of taking this passion that it's very vague and, not sure how to tell our story to what we have today. And that only started last August.
Wow. So not very long ago. That's less than a year ago at this point. And coming out of that, what was the big realization? What was the kind of aha moment for you that came out of that program that really helped you get the right foot forward?
I think a lot of it was, I think the biggest aha moment was what we already mentioned earlier. It's just kind of, these are the passions that we have. These are the things that people are coming to us for. So we were struggling with, how do we find our place? And so that's what we decided to step into and how to, and decided to monetize that.
Mm-hmm. And that it was okay to monetize that. That it's okay to earn a living from something you're passionate about that you want to serve others in.
Mm-hmm. And so how did you even begin to monetize it? What platforms were you using? How did that even start?
Yeah, so how we started doing that was just Facebook Live videos is our biggest following, and how we are just showing up consistently and listening to our audience and what they're wanting to hear about, and constantly asking them, what is going on in our lives that you would want us to talk about, and then showing up, interacting with them, making sure that they understand that they're the reasons that we do everything. And then from there, we created an online course And that right now is our main, but we also have affiliates and Amazon store, with personal development books. But we have our online course, 6 Steps to Easy Communication. We have another one on the way. And then we also do our live coaching. Everything's done online. So it's via video.
That's cool. So let's talk about Facebook Live really quick. Tell me about your process for going live, Brian. Like, how often do you guys go live? What's the setup like? So we can get a feel for kind of what this interaction is like with your audience.
Yeah, definitely. So we try to keep it pretty consistent. Every Monday night at 8. Sometimes life gets in the way, and that doesn't happen. We both work full-time jobs, and we have 3 kids, 3, 2, and 1 years old.
Wow.
So it doesn't always happen, but we try to stay consistent with that. And we just use content from the feedback that we've gotten from our followers, the things that they are struggling with or want to know more about, as well as the things that we've learned from our own relationship and have seen over and over. This is a problem, and these are the ways that we have come to resolution in those areas.
Mm-hmm. And some of the stuff that we talk about too is the stuff that people are uncomfortable to talk about. Mm-hmm. We decide to try to tackle those and sit in that uncomfortableness, if that's even a word, with them, because a lot of people want to know like the 15, best date nights and stuff. And we can talk about that, or being on a budget and talking about finances. But, there's things or topics that people don't want to talk about, like feeling like you're a horrible parent, when you're trying to create a business, how to create boundaries when you're building a business between you and your spouse, whether they're in the business with you or not, which I had actually started a business by myself before we did this one together. So we've experienced both sides, or even things like sex from a guy's perspective. Brian actually was just featured on Elephant Journal for a blog that he wrote that got over 94,000 views. And it's because we're talking about subjects that people are afraid to talk about.
Mm-hmm. And so you're able to build this community, and so people are coming and watching you live. Do you direct them anywhere? How are you kind of getting them to come back to the website? And, are there any call to actions, or are you selling on each of these live videos? Like, walk me through sort of, what happens after these videos are done each week on Monday.
Yeah, there's always a call to action. It varies week to week, and no, we are not selling them every time. I personally am not a huge fan of that, but I do want to make sure they know what resources are available if they choose to go that way. And we also do emails with our blogs to everybody because we have a weekly blog that's released as well, that is derived from our Facebook Live video, as well as quotes and things like that are sent out on our Facebook page throughout the week, correlating with the theme that we talk about. So then we have a call to action for them to either, we have a free thing that they can have access to, or a discount on or a promotion on one of our courses, or a promotion on wanting to have a live session with us. There's always something to do. Sometimes it's just reading a book that we've suggested is the call to action, which we'll have a link on our page for. So we're really starting to interview people as well during our live videos. So that's another way that we've been having people interact with us.
That's very cool. As you're building this business, and again, it's just kind of taken off now, which is fantastic. What are some of the struggles that you guys are having sort of together or with the business in terms of the way it's growing? Like, are there any things that you wish you had done differently, or are there any parts that you wish could be done a little bit easier?
I'd say the biggest struggle that we've had has definitely been schedule. Especially, we've talked about it already, the fact that we work full-time jobs and have 3 kids, 3 and under, while we're raising this business. So it's taken a lot of intentionality to make sure that our kids still
have parents,
right,
and stay alive and know that we love them. We have to make sure that our relationship stays together, because if it falls apart, the most successful business in the world is not worth it in our eyes. So we have to make sure that we make time for each other. So for us, every Thursday night, we just turn off our phones, turn off everything, and say, I know that we're busy. I know there are a million things that we could be doing right now, but But right now it's our date night. So we will just spend time together, check in with each other, see how things are going.
Yeah, that's so important. I do date night as well, actually on Thursday nights too with my wife, and it's incredible just how much, even just a few hours together with everything turned off, like you said, is just to reinvigorate the relationship, to get motivated again, to continue to love each other and just crush it for each other. So that's fantastic.
We actually created a box. We call it our disconnect to reconnect box, because I was struggling with seeing my phone and not checking it because I know that there would be something that I'd want to respond to. So like out of sight, out of mind. And so we created this box that we know when it goes in there, it can charge while it's in there, and we don't touch it for the rest of the night. We actually did not know that you had responded to our Twitter post saying that you wanted to set up a time to interact with us and interview us, because we are actually on date night and our phones were in our box.
Oh, that's so funny.
Everyone thought it was hilarious that they all knew before us and we didn't know until the next morning. So
well, you have an amazing community. I want to talk about them really quick. If you could answer this on their behalf, why are they so raving about what you both do?
I think it's because we bring an element of realness and genuine. They know that we're for them, and we know that we want to see them succeed in their relationships, and that we're not going to feed them a bunch of fluff, and that if they're going through hard times, that we create a safe place for them to talk about it and not feel bad about it, but actually feel good that they're even trying to better themselves in their relationships, and that we make them know that they're not alone.
Brian, do you have an answer as well?
I was thinking the same thing that she was. I would say that it seems like people are really impressed with with just how much things have grown, and the fact that we don't just talk about wanting to serve and talk about wanting to grow the business, but because we're so passionate about this, and because we want to see relationships restored, and we want to see this really do well, we're putting the work in and growing the business. And it's only been a couple months now, but we've really been blessed to have the community help out in the ways that it has, and grow it to where it is today.
Yeah, I think that speaks so highly to how you're building this community, right? Like there's level one, which is people following you and finding you on Google, right? Or blog posts, and they only get a little bit of a sense of who you are, but you're moving it all the way up to live video, which is just, that's real life, right? And it's the real raw you. And I think that your community speaks so highly to you guys because of just how much you're letting them in on who you are and the types of people you are. And I think it's fantastic. So, we've heard it over and over and over again the last couple months now. It's live videos is absolutely huge. Were you guys always comfortable getting on live video, or was that weird at first for you?
I can speak for myself first, and then Brian can talk about it.
Okay, how about you, Erica?
Got used to live video a little bit with my past business. I was in an MLM as a Beachbody coach, and so I started being more comfortable sharing through that. It was a little bit of a safer topic because I feel like everyone's open to talking about losing weight, or at least sharing someone's journey on it. And so that's where I started. And then I saw the freedom that came from that. I saw the power that it had to encourage others. And so I kind of got addicted to it and put my insecurities to the side so that I could help serve them the best I could in the way that I was given. And that's how I got comfortable with it. I still get nervous, though, because recently we talked about going live impromptu off the cuff, which is what I used to always do, but such as when we have a fight and we have talked about it, and then going live afterwards and being vulnerable in that moment of, this is kind of what we deal with. And that's hard. That's really hard, even though because it's in that moment. It's a little bit easier if you're like past it, right?
Right.
In that moment of sharing that makes it difficult. What about you, babe?
Yeah, I am getting more comfortable with it. So
sounds like it was something that maybe was a little difficult for you to kind of get started with.
Yeah, definitely. So it's weird if I'm like one-on-one in a conversation, I'm usually fairly comfortable. And then like in a group setting, I'm super awkward. And then Facebook Live, for whatever reason, I'm super awkward. At least I was starting out. I walk on a stage and I'm completely fine with it. But there's something about Facebook Live and like not having an audience that I'm looking at, I guess, just super uncomfortable to not have that instant feedback and not knowing like people might think I'm crazy right now and I have no idea.
But you're still doing it anyway. I want to ask you why.
Yeah. Because I believe in what we're doing, and we've seen the benefits in our own relationship. And it doesn't just affect your relationship. When your relationship is terrible, everything in life seems like it's terrible. When you don't have those people in your corner, whether it's great friends or a spouse or someone you're dating or whatever, when you don't have that person that's in your corner that's going to love you and take care of you, and especially when it's on the opposite, when you go home to someone that makes your life more difficult, it changes everything. So we've seen the power of it in our own relationship, and it makes it worth it to face your fears and go out and do the things that you're not comfortable with, and talk about the things that nobody wants to talk about, because we've seen the power in it and we want to share that with other people.
I love it. Now I want to ask you, again, talking about the relationships and working together, like how did it start when you both were, okay, we're going to turn this thing into a business. We're going to serve many people. We're going to go online. We got scheduling to do. We got stuff to take care of. How are you able to kind of work together in that way? And what devices or tools or strategies do you use or implement to make sure that you guys kind of work well together? I'm just curious to know what the kind of dynamic is like.
Yeah. When we first started, Brian wasn't quite sure what his role was in it, other than the content, because that's what he basically did as a pastor is the main content piece. And I was used to creating a business previously, so I was trying to involve him in every aspect. He's like sitting there and we would have arguments over it. Like, why don't you want to be here? Why does it seem like you don't want to participate? And we finally talked about it. It wasn't that he didn't want to do the business, is that he didn't feel like he was bringing value, and it was stuff he wasn't good at. So we learned that it's okay to not be involved in everything together, that there's things that he's good at, there's things that I'm good at, and there's things that we'll do together. And so just talking about that and trial and error of figuring out what those are if you don't know right away was huge for us. And then I would say the systems that we use, we highly, highly, highly rely on our calendar. If you aren't scheduling and time blocking everything, balls will get dropped. And that is probably the biggest thing. We had to sit down the other day and schedule and rest, because that, if you can keep going and going and going, but if you aren't scheduling time for rest, you're not really able to help fill up anybody else if your cup's empty. Totally.
I mean, I schedule in my morning routine, a lot of things that help me, stay focused and have breathing room, like meditation and journaling and all the stuff that, the Miracle Morning stuff that I've talked about on the show before. When times get tough, and especially in around the work sort of arena, and like you said, sometimes we get into fights with our business partners or whatever. Like, what's the best way, or how would you recommend, or how do you both approach solving those problems and kind of putting those fires out so you can continue on and get stuff done, but also be in a good mood again?
Yeah, I think sometimes you just need some outside perspective to help ask questions because, I mean, Brian can articulate on this, but everything stems back to, if you're having an issue, it stems back to some type of core need or wounding that you have in your history that is giving you some feedback that either you're not good enough, you're not cared about, your voice doesn't matter, no one cares, you're invisible, you're stupid. There's a lie that you're believing in that is causing you to react usually. So if you have that visceral reaction, there's something else going on. And that's usually the type that you can't communicate through and you struggle with. So taking a step back, having someone else come in, ask questions to try to figure out what is going on. Or when you start figuring out what your core need is, you can start figuring out why you're reacting to things that you are. And then it's not you versus them anymore. It's you together collaborating, not compromising, because there is a difference, collaborating together towards a common vision or a common goal.
I really like that approach because, I know a lot of people who have multiple sort of business partners, and, a lot of times when even just one thing is going wrong, it messes up the whole ship, right? Like what you were saying earlier, Brian, it's just like, once it just puts everything in a bad place. So how do you approach, or what's the mindset one should have when, coming across these hurdles when it comes to relationships, to hopefully get out of that rut sooner than later?
Yeah, I would say to remember, Erica just talked about kind of what's going on in your own mind and recognizing that there are wounds that you're dealing with. But I think that you have to go into those tough conversations recognizing that the other person is dealing with the same thing. So a lot of times we look at the symptoms and this person is frustrating me because they're not getting stuff done, or they're fighting me on everything, and recognizing that there are things going on there deeper than just what you're butting heads on. Yeah. So never walk into a disagreement looking at the symptoms. Try to dig deeper and figure out, when you did this, what was your goal there? What were you trying to accomplish? And it's never just, I wanted to make you mad. I don't like you. At least 99% of the time it's not. So when we dig deeper and figure out the reasons that people are doing the things that we do, we see them as a person, instead of just as someone that is making us mad. It just completely reframes the conversation and makes everything go more smoothly from there on. Love that.
Thank you, Brian. A couple of final questions for you. Erica, can you speak on, you had mentioned this earlier, making sure that you guys are still parents to your kids despite both having full-time jobs and then also working on this online business. I know a lot of people who are working full-time who are also starting to do something on the side, who also are very worried about the fact that, well, when are they going to actually have time for their families? So what advice would you have for people who are in that world?
Yeah. One of the biggest things that we had to do, and I hate to keep going back to the same thing, but it really stems, for everything for us, is the intentionality piece. And we make sure that, whatever that is for you, we make sure that we have 2 full Saturdays a month on the weekends that is solely dedicated to family time. And we'll do something fun during that time to build the memories that we would like. And then we also make sure that the kids, even though at night they go to bed at 6:30, so I'm usually home for a half hour, we eat dinner, and then it's pile into bed. And we make sure that we let them know how much we truly care about them, even though we only have a half hour every night with them. And so we started doing this thing where we do positive affirmations with them every night. And it started out with just 1 or 2, and we didn't really know what we were doing at the time, but we would tell them, like, I love you so much. You make me so happy. And then the next night or a few nights later, I forget when it was, Liam, our oldest, who's 3, he started finishing our sentences. And I'm like, dude, he's listening to us, like, he's actually paying attention. And then I started thinking about it and talking about it with Brian. I'm like, I remember these sayings that my mom used to say to me, and she said it probably offhandedly a few times. What if we sat here and told them, just like how we're trying to, have positive affirmations that we speak into our own lives, if we speak these into our kids and let them know that, so anytime that we're dealing with anything, they know these solid truths and they've been ingrained in their hearts. And so now we have like a list of 20 things that we tell them, and they finish each of those sentences. And I feel like even though we might not have a lot of time, that half hour that we have every night is quality. And so paying attention that it's quality, not quantity, and making sure that when you are with your kids, you focus on solely them.
For sure. If they're going to bed at 6:30, I'm curious, what time are they waking up?
6:30.
6:30. Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, it's definitely so key to just take advantage of whatever time you have available. And, I know that I'm in a unique position because, entrepreneurs, a lot of, people who are their own bosses, they have a little bit more time. But even though they have that more time, sometimes they don't even spend it very wisely. So, is your goal to, at some point, remove yourself from the full-time job to open up more time for your kids and to go more fuller time with the business? Is that a goal of yours, Brian?
Yeah, we definitely love the idea of having more freedom, not just financial freedom as we grow this, but freedom to do the things that at least I was never able to do growing up, being able to travel overseas and really make memories with them that'll stick with them forever.
Love that. Erica, do you want to speak on that in terms of like, where are you guys going from here?
Yeah, I mean, is my current employer listening? I love where I work right now, but I mean, it would be ideal, and what our vision is when we're doing our vision casting, what we want it to be. Our first goal is to retire Brian so that he can work on this full time. Right now he's a teacher and an athletic director, and so it'd be easier to replace that income. So that's our first step. And then ideally, I mean, we want to go around and speak at events and be able to share our story, the nitty gritty, help people, via mentoring them, coaching them, and continuing to do what we're currently doing, just on a larger scale. So that's the end goal. And we just got to figure out the time frame in between now and then, and what that looks like, and make sure that we still stay like rested and don't go crazy between now and then, because both Brian and I would work every second that we could.
Well, it's obvious that you guys are very passionate about what you guys are doing here and helping others and serving others too. So I know you have a show on Monday. Do you want to share a little bit more specifically where people should go to find out more information about you and where you guys go live and the whole deal?
Yeah. So our Facebook business page is at The Bakers TV. People can find us there. You can also find us on our website, thebakers.tv. That's where our blog is, as well as all of our services, and the core needs quiz that we actually created. We have a special link for you, Pat, and your followers. It's thebakers.tv/Pat.
Cool.
And they can access that there. And we have a couple goodies specifically for Pat Flynn followers.
And what is that quiz for exactly, just so people know what to expect when they get there?
So when you go there and you take the quiz, it focuses on the 4 core needs that you could have and matches you up to see what your core need is. I mean, everyone probably has a little bit of all of them, but there will be one that stands out. And it's really the results show you, and it's something that you can actually, download to show you, okay, these are the things that I know. So you have self-awareness about yourself of what your need is, and then how to communicate that during an argument or after an argument, things to avoid, things that you need. So a lot of awareness is going on when you get those results, and then it's shareable, so you can share it with, if that's a significant other or a friend, ask them to take it that way, because that's step 1 really is creating that awareness, gaining awareness about yourself.
Love that. And by the way, I'm just curious, what tool or software are you using to host that quiz? Because I think that's a really cool way to introduce kind of what you have to offer to people. I think it's a fantastic idea. I recommend everybody check it out. But also, what kind of technically are you using to help set that up?
Yeah, so we used to do Quizzer, and we just changed to Thrive Themes, their quiz. So we're actually just implementing that currently. Like, our team is working on it right now. So it's nice because it has a decision tree. So it's not just a straight up quiz. We can tailor the results to, if somebody's single, then their results are going to be a little bit different than somebody who's in a relationship.
Right. Well, that's really cool. Thank you for sharing that. We'll have to link that out for everybody who's curious on how that works. And guys, thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate it and all the advice. And we want to wish you all the best. And I look forward to following up with you guys in the future to see where you're at.
Yeah, thank you so much, Pat. Yeah, you're amazing.
Thank you. All right, I hope you enjoyed that interview with Brian and Erica Baker from thebakers.tv. And actually, you can go to thebakers.tv/Pat and you can start your quiz there just to kind of see what your core needs are for your relationship. I think it's really important to understand what those things are so that you and your partner or partners, whether it's business or your personal life, can understand each other and better communicate with each other. So again, that's thebakers.tv/Pat. And of course, the resources and links, including that one I just mentioned, are on the show notes on the blog, which you can find at smartpassiveincome.com/session272. So again, that's smartpassiveincome.com/session272. So super stoked that you're here and listened all the way through. I appreciate you so much. And I got a really fun episode to let you know about that's happening next week. And this is with a woman who had been following the blog for a while. And she was at the point at which she was actually pretty close to quitting. But we had a coaching call together and I recorded that coaching session. And that's what you're going to hear next week in episode 273. So if you aren't subscribed, make sure you subscribe to the podcast so you can get that and all the other future episodes. We got a lot of great ones coming up. You're gonna love it. I'm not even gonna share what they are right now. I'm gonna have the surprise of just what happens on a Wednesday when you see the new episodes come in. Really inspire you. So look forward to those episodes coming up. And until then, keep moving forward, guys. Keep being open and honest with each other. And I look forward to serving you in next week's episode. And again, thank you and welcome to all the brand new students to my new course, Smart from Scratch. The enrollment period has already ended. However, you can still get on the wait list for the next one. I'm currently working with the current batch of students to help them with the start of their business journey. And it's so exciting. So again, smartfromscratch.com. That's going to reopen again later this year. But until then, I appreciate you guys. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Cheers. Bye now.
Thanks for listening to the Smart Passive Income Podcast at www.smartpassiveincome.com.
Hey, fellow podcaster, does this sound like something you've experienced? Record your podcast episode on one platform, download the files, edit in another app, then fire up a different tool just to create these social clips. Well, it can be clunky, time-consuming, and frankly overwhelming, especially for creators trying to grow. And that's why I'm excited to tell you about Riverside. Riverside is the all-in-one platform. Record, edit, and repurpose your podcast content all in one place. You just log in, record with your guests no matter where you are in the world, and just like that, studio-quality audio and high-resolution video. We use Riverside here at SPI as well now. With built-in AI, I can automatically clean up my audio, saving myself so much editing time, and it can even auto-generate clips to make promoting the show a breeze. And with Magic Clips, I can grab the best moments and repurpose them as short-form video, perfect for YouTube Shorts, TikTok, or Instagram, without re-recording a thing. So if you're tired of juggling tools and want a faster, simpler way to create and scale your content, it's time to try Riverside, built by creators for creators. Just go to smartpassiveincome.com/Riverside and use code SMART to get 1 month free on the Pro plan. That's smartpassiveincome.com/Riverside, promo code SMART. Have you dreamt about being your own boss, but still haven't made the first steps to making that dream a reality? Well, I get that. Starting a business can feel super overwhelming with legal forms, paperwork, finances. It's a lot. And that's why I'm excited to tell you about Taylor Brands. Taylor is a complete business builder designed to make launching your business simple and stress-free. You can register your LLC in just minutes, keeping your personal assets and the business assets separate from day one. From there, you get access to everything you need to get off the ground, legal documents, licenses and permits, invoicing and bookkeeping tools, and even a 100-day business coaching program, all designed to help you hit the ground running. You'll also get a free personalized business plan, branding tools, and so much more. And of course, listeners of this show get an exclusive 35% discount to get started. All you have to do is head to tailorbrands.com/SPI. That's TAILORBRANDS.com/SPI. Stop dreaming, start building with Tailor Brands.